Okay, so hi everyone. Today, my teammates Anahit Dashayan, Diana Vartanyan, and me, Esra Babajanyan, who are also students of the American University of Romania, are going to talk about predatory relationships at the workplace within the course called Trust. Let's first of all go around our table of contents to see what we're going to explore today. So first of all, we are going to understand what is workplace harassment in general. Then we're going to dive deeper in the description of a real-life example that we have found based on the research. It will help us to visualize better what kind of situations can people in Armenia face in their workplaces. Then we're going to show our diagnosis of trust problems, what kind of trust problems have led to such consequences. We're also going to talk about the consequences of these trust problems. And of course, based on our research, we are also going to suggest some solutions that may have prevented such occurrences at workplaces, not only in workplaces, but in general in any social groups. So first of all, let's understand what is workplace harassment in general. Since each person who has not encountered workplace harassment, thankfully, does not really have the borderlines to understand what workplace harassment really is. So it's always considered to be something regarding some physical intimidations, but I would like to also mention that occurrences as offensive jokes, pictures, objects, physical assaults, threats, name calling, and of course also intimidation and sexual harassment are considered types of workplace harassment. So for example, if at your workplace you are being called by a nickname that you do not really like, and you have warned your colleagues not to call you like that, and they continue to do it, it's basically also a type of workplace harassment. However, it does not include any physical intimidation. It's more like mental. And now my teammate Anahit will dive deeper in what sexual harassment is, what kind of sexual harassments we can face at our workplaces in general, to give you a better understanding of our specific topic. Anahit, you can continue.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Esther, for the introduction. So first of all, let's understand what type of sexual harassment exist in the workplace. So the first one is the quid pro quo, which from Latin means favor for a favor, when the employer or someone with a higher rank than you, or a supervisor, or even another employee is regularly making some sexual advances that, if not accepted, may result in being denied employment, or that person may lose the job or lose the opportunity for promotion. And the other one is the hostile work environment, which is when unwelcome sexual expressions create an humiliating, unfavorable, or even uncomfortable working environment. And talking with numbers in the exploration of trust, it's the issue within predatory workplace relationship. It's crucial to acknowledge the global scale of this problem. And the studies across the European Union reveal that up to 50%, it's exactly from 40 to 50% of women in Europe experienced some sort of a workplace harassment, sexual harassment, and this number in Armenia reflects as 42.7%. Which is really big. And this statistics not only underscores the pervasive nature of this issue, but also sets the stage for understanding the critical need for comprehensive solutions. And today we're gonna we will delve how this global challenge manifests locally in Armenia and reflects on Marina's story, which we will be talking shortly. So Marina's case is the following. Marina was a young graduate at that time who transferred from academia to professional role, only to encounter a dark reality of workplace culture. Marina accepted job offer from her formal teacher, who she trusted, deeply trusted and respected. Initially, her workplace experience were positive and she felt secure and valued. However, the sense of safety was abruptly shattered. Um, so Marina was asked to stay late one evening, a request that soon turned into an unwelcome sexual advance. This incident was not isolated, as her former teacher and no employer repeatedly made inappropriate propositions linking her career progress to her submission. Faced with ongoing harassment and no legal or organizational support, in Armenia, Marina felt her only recourse out of this situation was to resign. And this case underscores the critical impact of harassment on trust. So let's talk about a bit the legal and cultural landscape in Armenia, and start with the absence of legislation. As Armenia currently lacks specific laws that define and address sexual harassment in the workplace, leaving victims without formal legal recourse. The other is lack of protection. That's when the labor code actually does not recognize sexual harassment as a distinct form of violation, and resulting in insufficient legal protection for employees who face such situations. And the last one is the cultural norms. That's when the society's attitude is often trivialized or dismiss the harassment, viewing the complaint as overreaction or a normal office behavior. And let's make some diagnosis of this trust problem and start with Marina's trust being breached in her former teacher, an employer who was the trust was shattered when he abused his authority and violated his inherent trust placed in him. And the other is institutional trust being destroyed, as the lack of organizational response to her complaints reflect a broader systematic failure to protect employees, not only herself but others who also face such situations, and protect employees and uphold ethical standards in the workplace. And cultural and legal gaps. That's when the society accepts the harassment and the absence of protective laws in Armenia create an environment where such behaviors are inadequately challenged and rarely penalized. Now, understanding the deep impact of these trust issues, let's examine the consequences they have on individuals like Marina and the workplace and as a society large. And about this, Diana is going to talk about. So, yeah.
So thank you, Anahit, and hello, everyone. As already Anahit said, I will talk about the consequences of trust problems due to sexual harassment, and I'll talk about 3 different types of impacts. So the first one is impact on individuals. Second one will be impact on work environment. The other one will be broader organizational impact. And next, we'll suggest some solutions and actions. So the first one is impact on individuals. I will talk about the mental and emotional stress. The victims experience significant mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, and decrease in self-esteem. Next one is physical discomfort and safe concerns. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So it will be unwanted physical contact or advance can lead to a feeling of physical vulnerability and safety concerns within the workplace. The other one is professional setback. Victims often face obstacles in their career progression, either directly from the perpetrators or by withdrawing from the opportunities for advancement to avoid further harassment. Next one, I will be talking about the impact on the work environment. So the first thing is the erosion of trust. The fundamental trust between employees and management is compromised, and victims and their colleagues may feel that the organization does not support or protect its staff. And next is the reduced productivity. The work environment becomes charged with tension and discomfort, and reducing overall productivity and job satisfaction can be another thing, impact. Next is high turnover rates. So increased staff turnover as victims may leave the job to escape from the hostile environment, and their colleagues may lead to a protest or to help their colleagues. Now I'll talk about the broader organizational impact. So the first thing is legal and financial risks. Organization may face legal action from victims and resulting in financial penalties and costly settlements. The other one is damage to organizational reputation. Public cases and harassment can tarnish the reputation of the organization, affecting its ability to attract and retain talent and possibly impacting customer relations and partnerships. And the other one is negative impact on workplace culture. So persistent issues of harassment can create a toxic workplace culture, which might deter new talent and affect the quality of work environment for all employees. And addressing these issues effectively requires a multi-faceted approaches, including better legal frameworks and supportive policies, and a culture that effectively fights against such behaviors to restore trust and ensure a safe working environment. And now Esfera will talk about the solutions and actions that we can do to stop this type of actions. Thank you. Esfera.
Thank you, Anahit and Diana, for the thorough explanation of the case that we have studied and also like the impacts and consequences. And since we have gone through this case and we have thought about some solutions that may prevent sexual harassment at the workplace, we would like to display to you some of the core ideas that we have thought that might help. So first of all is the emotional intervention. What do we mean by saying emotional intervention? So first of all, it's that the victims should have the opportunity of confidential counseling. Usually in Armenia, the idea of counseling is not very well welcomed because people are afraid of not getting the confidential counseling. They are afraid of losing being anonymous. They think that maybe their counselor may be a relative of their relative and their secrets may be exposed. So it means that in Armenia, we are lacking in like this trustful professional zone of counseling that will assure that any victim's secret may remain confidential. And second of all, apart from the victim itself, we also need to spread awareness campaign between any social groups. It doesn't mean if people are employed or unemployed, if they have faced sexual harassment at workplace or no. Each and every individual, starting like from, I don't know, 18 or above years old, when they are not children anymore, they should be aware of sexual harassment. They should be part of some interactive sessions so as to know that some cases are cases of sexual harassment. So when they face that, they know what to do. Second is, of course, functional intervention, because apart from giving the emotional support, there should also be a good functioning organization, functioning team that will help to prevent this. So since the human resources team of the companies are the ones who are responsible for the relationship between colleagues, for the workplace hierarchy, and for the people who are being employed for that position, the HR team is the first to undergo special trainings, which will help them to identify, I don't know, any marks that may lead to this sexual harassment, identify some give their employees some tests or test them in different situations so as to see if a person is able of sexual harassment or not. And of course, apart from having trainings that will develop like inner intuition, so to say, but of course based on some background about a person, there must also be a vast usage of digital anonymous reporting tools. What we mean by saying anonymous reporting tools, it means that, for example, if a person at a workplace is being sexually harassed, he or she should know that they have the opportunity to, I don't know, for example, write an email anonymously to the human resources team and that they will get a feedback. So by getting a feedback, the anonymous part does not disappear. It's just a matter of programming it. It's just a matter of the IT field to do it correctly so that the confidentiality is not lost between this messaging. And also, apart from the victim getting a response and feeling that he or she is not lonely in the situation, that they have some kind of backup, also the person who has done it to the victim should get a response as well, so that if something happens in the workplace, the person who has done that should face some kind of consequences. Let it be some warnings or, I don't know, losing a job if there are certain facts, but it should be always done so as to make the victim feel not alone and feel protected. The next one is, of course, the cognitive intervention. So if you want your culture, if you want the people in your society, in your workplace to be aware of all of it, you need to display it to them as specifically as possible. So when you want to explain something as specifically as possible, data-driven analysis is what makes it powerful and what makes it perfect. So for example, if we told you that in Armenia there are many women who encounter sexual harassment in their workplaces, it may not affect you that much. You may think that, okay, many women, it may be, I don't know, 10%, 5%, 12%, but when my teammate Anahit told you that there are 42.7% women in Armenia that are having they're facing sexual harassment, this number is already making another effect. It's already making the impact because you see that it's based on statistics. It's a fact, not an approximation. So that is why always statistics is needed to display the reality to employees. And of course, there should be necessary materials to assist the employees to clearly understand, because not every person can, I don't know, clearly analyze the result of the statistics, and people should learn what they need to do, the information that they have gained, so that it is not just an overload of information, but also something they need to process clearly and get the knowledge out of it. And the last but not least are the intervention by institutions. I think this is the more like most important point and the first step that should be done. Because if you want to make change in the society, which is exactly what I think each of every of us wants, it should not be just a company, just an HR team of a company, one company using a reporting tool, etc. It should be the authorities who try to bring in the discipline. For that, there should be clearly defined laws that are to the point. For example, what we mean by saying to the point, laws that will prevent sexual harassment at the workplace. Exactly. There may be laws that, I don't know, condemn sexual intimidation, condemn rape, or condemn some assaults, but it should be more to the point so that people know that when they face this exact situation, there is a law that can protect them from it. Apart from that, since currently in Armenia it is not that widespread, this legal part and this protective part, or even if there are some parts, the awareness is not that big. People are not exposed to that ideas and to that knowledge. There are many other countries that have used or are more adapt in that field, so to say, and this gives us the opportunity to follow best international practices. So we can, not we, but the authorities yeah, should clearly analyze what are the best international practices that suit to our country as well, make some modifications and set up some new reforms. And apart from that, there should be an independent body that will keep the field under monitoring. So again, it's not just one company, it's a whole society that you want to train, that you want to educate. So for that, there should be independent bodies that when you, for example, do some interactive sessions, you include statistics, you do some reforms, you should always keep it under monitoring so as to see if it actually worked, if it did, if it was beneficial for victims, maybe it backfired, maybe it exposed someone. So the field is very, very subtle and it always needs to be under this very strict monitoring. So I think that was it for today. First of all, thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them. And if you do not manage to give your questions because of some time constraints, we will be happy to answer them by email if you send it to this below mentioned email addresses. Thank you.